a super quick and easy way to adjust the rise. This works if you need to shorten the rise or lengthen the rise. Find the middle of your rise. We're going to place a pin using the guidelines on our cutting mat at the middle of our rise. Cut along the top edge of your pattern piece. Now you can adjust the rise by moving the pin based on the guidelines on your cutting mat. If you move the pin 1 inch up, you've added 1 inch of rise, and you would follow along with the rest of the pattern piece. By moving the pin 1 inch in the opposite direction, the rise is now 1 inch shorter. Follow along the rest of the pattern piece to cut out your garment. Make sure to make any necessary adjustments to the back side of the garment. To get started, you need your accent piece cut, bow fabric, and bow middles. Set the accent piece aside. For the bow middles, you need pieces of fabric cut 2 by 2 inches. For the bow, you need a strip of fabric that is 6 inches tall. We'll cut it down to size later. Fold the bow fabric in half, right sides together. Pin or clip along the edge. Sew or serge to complete the seam. Use your favorite turning tool to turn the bow right sides out. I like to place my bodkin inside the end of the tube, pinch the edge, and use that to pull the tube right side out. Adjust the seam so that it is sitting in the middle of the bow. This is a good time to press your fabric for nice crisp edges. Set the bow fabric aside. Fold the bow middle in half, right sides together, and clip along the edge. Repeat with all of the bow middles. Sew or serge to complete your seam. Turn the bow middles right side out. I use my bodkin in the same way that I did with my bow. Adjust your seam to be in the middle and press your fabric for nice crisp edges. To cut our bow to size, the first thing we need to do is hem our accent piece. Fold the bottom edge up by 1 inch and top stitch. Lay your bow fabric over the accent piece where you would like your bow to sit. Trim the bow to fit that width. Use that piece to cut an additional bow for the opposite side of your shorts. Repeat this process for a second or third bow depending on how many you would like on your accent piece. Here are 2 different ways to complete your bow. Option number 1, begin by folding your bow. Add the bow middle to the bow with the seam of the bow middle showing. Pin or clip the edges. Option number 2 to complete your bow. Fold the bow middle in half with the seam side showing and pin or clip the edge. Sew or serge all of the bow middles. If you chose option number 1, Now you need to turn your bow middle right side out so that all seams are hidden. If you chose option number 2, turn your bow middle right sides out so that all seams are hidden. Fold your bow and feed it inside the bow middle. Now we need to determine the placement of the bows. I like to start at the bottom of the accent first. Pin or clip one side of the bottom bow to the accent piece. Repeat with the opposite side of the bottom bow, making sure that it starts and ends at the same place. If the bow is too wide, trim it down to size. When determining the placement for the top bow, make sure to leave seam allowance for when you will attach the waistband. Pin or clip one side of the top bow. Repeat the pinning process with the opposite side of the top bow, making sure that the bow starts and ends at the same place. Baste the bows to your accent piece. Now your accent piece with bows is ready to go. And this is what your completed shorts will look like with bows on your accent piece and a shortened rise. Great job!